Welcome to The Explainer. All right, today we're tackling a really big question. How do you break the habit of being yourself to create the life you really want?
You ever get that feeling like you're just stuck on a hamster wheel, running as hard as you can, but getting absolutely nowhere? It's that super frustrating feeling of being trapped in a loop you just can't seem to break out of.
And it's a powerful cycle, right? You have the same old thoughts, which, of course, lead to the same choices. Those choices create the same behaviors, which then produce the same experiences that just drum up the same old feelings. This loop, well, it creates a reality that's familiar, for sure, but it's often the one we desperately want to change.
So today, we're going to dive into the groundbreaking work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. We're going to explore a really radical idea. What if your thoughts don't just, interpret your reality? What if they actively create it?
Okay, so the foundation for this whole idea comes from this kind of strange corner of quantum physics called the observer effect. In simple terms, it just means that where you focus your attention, that's where you place your energy. You can think of it like a magnifying glass focusing sunlight. Your focused mind can have a real, measurable effect on the world around you.
And get this, here's a totally mind-bending fact from quantum physics for you. An atom is 99.9999% energy and potential. Only a tiny, tiny fraction of it is physical matter. This means, at our very core, we're basically fields of possibility, not just solid bodies. The potential for change is literally built into the fabric of your being.
So, if we are beings of pure potential, why on earth do we get so stuck in our old ways? Well, it all comes down to a really powerful feedback loop that's constantly running between our brain and our body.
So, it all starts with a thought. That thought triggers your brain to produce specific chemicals. These chemicals, they act like little messengers, causing your body to have a feeling that perfectly matches that initial thought. And here's the kicker. That feeling then influences you to think more thoughts just like it, creating this continuous, self-reinforcing cycle.
And over time, this loop conditions the body to become the mind. Your body has essentially memorized an emotional state, like, say, anxiety or frustration. This becomes your state of being. It's an automatic program that just runs in the background of your life, and a lot of the time, you don't even realize it.
This subconscious programming is what keeps us stuck in what Dr. Dispenza calls survival mode. We're just constantly reacting to our external environment, we're ruled by stress hormones, basically living from our past. The goal is to shift into creation mode, where your mind is in control, you're guided by possibility, and you actively shape your own reality. But here is the good news. Your brain is perfectly equipped for this kind of change. It's organized into 3 key areas that work together to take you from a new idea all the way to a new reality.
Let's break it down. Think of it like this. Your neocortex is your thinking brain. That's where you learn new things. The limbic brain is your emotional or chemical brain. And the cerebellum, that's your subconscious, the seat of all your ingrained habits. Real change involves a journey through all 3.
It all starts with thinking, learning new knowledge. Then you move on to doing, applying that knowledge to create a new experience, which generates a new emotion. Finally, through a whole lot of repetition, you arrive at being. And that's when that new way of thinking and feeling becomes a subconscious, automatic habit, a whole new state of being.
Okay, so this leads to the big question, right? How do you actually access this subconscious programming to start making real changes?
The primary tool here is meditation. Its purpose is to get you beyond your analytical, thinking mind and into the operating system of the subconscious, where all those automatic programs are stored.
And the key is to slow down your brainwaves. In our normal, busy, waking state, we're in beta. We're analytical, we're alert. Meditation helps us shift down into the relaxed, creative state of alpha, and then into the highly suggestible, almost dreamlike state of theta. That is the realm of the subconscious.
When you get into these slower brainwave states, you're effectively opening the door between your conscious and subconscious minds. This is the fertile ground where you can begin to uninstall old, limiting programs and install new, empowering ones.
So once you've used meditation to access this really suggestible state, the actual process of transformation comes down to 2 fundamental steps.
First, you have to unlearn. This means becoming so aware of the automatic thoughts and feelings of your old self that they no longer run your life unconsciously. You just decide they aren't you anymore. Then you rehearse. You mentally create and emotionally experience the reality of your new self over and over again.
To start this whole creative process, you ask yourself open-ended questions, just like this one. Asking, what is the greatest ideal of myself, actually turns on the creative center of your brain, the frontal lobe, and it starts building a neurological blueprint for your new self.
And this is the power of mental rehearsal. When you repeatedly think about your desired future and you actually feel the emotions that go with it, your brain literally can't tell the difference between what's real and what's just imagined. It starts to physically change, to rewire itself, as if your future has already happened.
So the crucial point is this. When you change your internal state of being, your thoughts and your feelings, you create a new personality. And that new personality begins to produce a new personal reality. Your outer world starts to reflect the changes that you've made within.
Ultimately, the greatest habit you can ever break is the habit of being your old self. And this leaves you with the ultimate question. It's not about who you are, but who you will choose to become.